Hi guys, and welcome to the Lifestyle Design Secrets podcast, where we talk about fitness, nutrition, mindset, and a whole lot more. Thank you for everyone who's listened to all our episodes so far and taken the time to leave a review. If you do enjoy this episode and want the free content to keep on coming, please do take 2 seconds to leave us a 5-star review. Thanks again. Now let's dive in.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Lifestyle Design Secrets podcast. Today I have Laura from Low Carb Haven, which I'm really excited about. So lots of you will know I am quite a proponent of a low carb style of eating, and I'm really excited to hear from Laura because I have done a cheeky little bit of research into your background, Laura, and what brought you to where you are today. But let's start off with a little starter to you. So what got you into the low carb way of eating and a style of living?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a happy accident with a double-edged sword, really. I'd had baby number 2 and I was just working on losing those last 5 kilos, you know, that stubborn kind of baby weight that when you're not sleeping through the night thing, you're not actually going to lose.
And your cortisol is wild and your stress levels all over the place.
Yeah, 2 under 2, you know, going, I can do this. But in that process, I had also been struggling with a huge array of autoimmune conditions since my early 20s. And within 6 months of being low carb, I was off all medication, no more symptoms. And that in itself was like, okay, there's something to this. And
This is working.
Haven't had too many issues since.
That's pretty amazing. And I have to say, I'd pretend to be surprised, but lots of my clients get exactly the same results. And I feel like the science is just about catching up. So they're doing a lot of studies now with low carb lifestyles, low carb eating in clinical trials and proving how important it can be for autoimmune conditions for various different factors. Because for some people it's like grains, it's different stuff for everyone.
Yeah.
So do you mind sharing what autoimmune conditions you were suffering from?
So I had a late onset of juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. So I didn't actually have it until I was 20. But they still classified it as juvenile because it wasn't in my blood work. It was sort of ANA negative, but with all the symptoms. And then from that, around the same time, we really hit the nail on the head and I got uveitis, posterior uveitis, and I nearly lost my vision. And I didn't quite realize how bad it was until we were kind of out the other end. And I remember sitting with my specialist and she just said, I don't know how we saved your sight. She said, I remember having this round table discussion with all the specialists at Green Lane and just going, this poor girl, like, she's gone. Like, yeah, and I didn't realize. And so that was a whole lot of steroid injections, cataract removal. I had like all the fluid in my eyes removed because the inflammation just kept coming back.
So Laura, to pause, what sort of way were you eating at this stage without realizing?
Well,
tell me, because I was bad.
I was
in my
early 20s. I was a hairdresser. I was drinking every night. It was fast food. My dad was also terminally ill at the time, so there was a whole lot of stress. Yeah, I was just, and at 2021, I didn't think at all to look at my diet. And it was never suggested either to see, you know, is this something that I can help or control? It was just like, and so, yeah, it was amazing that we sort of got to pregnancy and they were like, high risk, we're going to do this. Pregnancies both went amazing. I didn't have any massive flares after, which thank goodness.
Were you low carb by this point?
I only went low carb after baby number 2, but baby number 2 came in quite quick succession of number 1. So there's only 19 months between them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and then, that post baby number 2, straight kind of into low carb from about 6 months. And no postpartum flares. We've had the odd angioedema rear its head. I kind of get really bad Botoxy lips every now and again where I swell in random places. But
my goodness.
nothing that consistently needs supervision medicine. I was on hydroxychloroquine for the full 10 years that you're allowed to be on it. They were like, we don't want to take you off it, but
Is that a steroid? Sorry for people who don't know.
Cannot be on it any longer. The eye drops. I had great lashes, I have to say, because they use kind of what they use in lash lifts with the medicine, but it's been really positive. And just to go into motherhood with the knowledge that low carb gave me about how it affects your mood, your energy, even just the sugar highs and lows that the kids get. We were at a birthday party on Saturday and the sugar crash with all 4 of the kids afterward was abysmal. I was like, this is why we don't do that. It's like 6 o'clock. You can all go to bed. I've had enough of you.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting you brought that up because I definitely noticed I've got 2 step boys who are now 15 and 13, but I've been around since they were 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Car rides, you give them some lollies just to, next minute, 30 minutes in, they're absolutely pinging, fighting, going absolutely bonkers. Yeah, and it sounds like you're quite similar to me in that, and you'll let them have it every now and again. How do you work with the children? How do you feed them on a daily basis and balance like what normal kids eat?
The kids are very much like, we don't put any restrictions. Like, I have one 11-year-old girl and she's already self-conscious. I don't want to be plaguing her with the things that we were plagued with, celebrities in the magazines, getting. My biggest thing was, I remember, was at Nicole Richie when she was comparing to Paris Hilton and she was all chubby and I was like, but I look like her. I was a short, kind of chubby teenager.
Can I pause you there?
Yeah.
All right, because I remember this. Nicole in Paris. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
39.
Yeah, cool. I'm 35, so very similar era. I was brought up in London, despite having a Kiwi dad. So I remember like Kate Moss and the cocaine sheep. Yeah. Like really, really skinny. And then Paris Hilton, she was like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, good old bestie Nicole Richie next to her. And I was like, but hang on. I look like that. And, that stemmed a whole lot of eating issues.
And you remember that?
Yeah, for sure. And so even though, Alice, sees, and I will go through stages of being really strict. Like February, I just cut out all dairy and all grains because I was having a lot of inflammation. And so we explained to the kids why we're not eating this or why we're choosing that. I've got 3 very active boys that would live on crackers if you let them. And, some days they do. We will buy X amount, and once they're gone, they're gone. And then they know the options are cheese, salami, fruit, and then we actually have like a kid's protein shake. And they've kind of got free range of those for snacks.
That's really cool. Yeah. I tell you what, you're doing better than me with 2 teenagers. And because I only came in later, they are fully like pilled on bread, jam when they want it, Cocoa Pops, Wheat Bix, Nutri-Grain, like you name it.
Yeah.
The Kiwi processed food diet, they are all over it. But because they seem to move a lot and burn it off a hell of a lot, they're doing okay from a glucose levels point of view. But I definitely notice the fluctuations in mood sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's not so much the carbs. Like I would actually prefer my kids to go to school on Wheat Bix and banana than even like one of my kids has decided they like fruit bowls, and I'm like, that's great, but it's actually not giving you enough. Because they're going to run that off. They need that concentration at school. Can't get them to eat eggs for the life of me, which I would love. I would love them just to eat eggs. That would solve a lot of my problems.
Yeah.
But I would prefer them to go on carbs. It's for our family, it's the sugar. It's the lollipops, the lollies, or like when you combine the carbs and the sugar for a donut. Or, it's that sweet hit that I get, that real up and down with the kids especially.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I suppose let's dive in to the meaty main course that I'm sure a lot of people have got questions about. I want to hear about some of your favorite products at the moment. And I think I've just been having a little dive through your Low Carb Haven Instagram, and you guys doing taste testing, and you obviously like enjoy and believe in the products that you supply. And
Yeah.
that's how it all came about. It's making a low carb lifestyle easier for everyone, right? Yeah, so I saw some yummy keto lollies and lots of bars and things like that. So I want to get into your favorite products, but how do you eat on a daily basis? What does like a standard day of eating look like for you?
Okay. So I always start with a protein chia pudding. It's my jam. Up
Yeah.
until probably end of last year, I was not a breakfast eater. Chia
Cool, so
pudding.
fasting in the morning.
Yeah, well, just
Yeah.
having 6 litres of coffee. But we've also given coffee up recently. So that's another thing that I'm working on.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, I start with chia pudding, which will have, so the chia pudding itself is just cashew milk, protein powder. That's it with the chia. And some fruit on top, strawberries, berries, kiwi fruit, about a generous teaspoon of almond or cashew butter. And then I throw some hemp hearts or seeds on top. That's breakfast.
Yeah.
Cup of tea when I get into work. We tend to eat lunch about 11:30 in the morning because Stu and I will have lunch first, my husband, and then we let the staff have lunch later. So for lunch this week, I have been having coleslaw and chicken tenders. Awesome. So a couple of chicken tenders. We'd normally use chicken breast. Chicken tenders just happened to be on special this week. So, we're a family of 6. We're buying what's on special. If I need an afternoon pick-me-up, it is normally a bar or a shake or a couple of like seeded crackers and avocado or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
And then for dinners vary because of the kids and what they'll eat. So earlier in the week, we had homemade buttered chicken and I just had it on cauli rice. They have it on normal rice. Yeah. Tonight, we're going to do a barbecue. So that'll be sausages, steak, salad, and then I'm going to do a low-carb potato bake. So I'll have a small portion of that. The kids don't know any different. And then what I do is
I dive in.
Yeah, and I swap it in a couple of weeks as I'll use the same sauce and cauliflower. And they'll, and their brains go, oh, this tastes like that, and I like that.
Same.
And they'll like the cauliflower.
Yeah.
And then,
what is the brand of sauce that you use? I just saw you sharing.
So the sauce that I will use is the Pepper and Me. She has a hot potato bake thing that you just make up with your milk and your cheese. It's really easy for a low carb kind of deliciousness. So yeah, dinners are simple, but just simple carb swaps. If we have tacos, I'll have a salad. They'll have the chips type thing. And then if I want a sweet treat, I'll either have my Ninja Creamy bowl of fruit with some sugar-free chocolate on top. Something super simple.
Yeah. Cool. And so what would you say to women who, everyone who's done my program is like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's so easy. But to women who go, I just can't do it. It's too hard with the family as a mother of 4.
Yeah, look, I do like, I make my own milk, I make my own mayonnaise, I make my own sauces. I am that mum that just kind of prioritizes it. But I got my milk made before school yesterday. Like you fit it in where you can. If you can find a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon to prep, and I do, a Sunday afternoon I will prep protein for our lunches, muffins for the kids' lunch boxes or whatever. I might do little mini frittatas for snacks, and I can get it done in 2 hours, And I always make sure that I don't mind eating leftovers a couple of times. So if we're making things, I'm making enough for at least me to have it 2 or 3 more times that week. I batch make my chia puddings for 3 days in a row. I'm a batch prepper, and it doesn't actually take a long time.
This is music to my ears. Yeah. Right? I'm all about cook once, eat all week.
Yeah.
Is what I say. Because it's like, right, you're a mum of 4 and a business owner. You don't have time to fuck around, to be honest.
Exactly. And that's it. Like I can do a batch of mince and we can have it 4 different ways. They don't know it's the same mince. It tastes different when it's on spaghetti bolognese to nachos or, whatever. The kids don't notice and it's so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you do for exercise during the day, during a standard? Do you do much, or are you more?
So I am a little OCD. I have done over 10,000 steps every day since the 12th of November, 2022.
That's
my day.
amazing. Yeah.
So, come high or high water, I am getting, and I'm more of a 12 to 15,000 steps at the moment. So
Likewise.
luckily I have a very active job. So I'm walking around the warehouse and, I will go park at home to walk down to get the kids from school. I find these little snippets in my day where I can, or like if I go to the supermarket, I park as far away as I can. I do silly things, but it works.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does this, but you do realize we're the freaks, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else thinks it's completely bizarre.
I do like to get a post-dinner walk-in, just as much for digestion as well. So Stu kind of knows, like, I'll cook and everything. I peel out fairly quickly. He's left to clean up. I've cooked, you're cleaning, mate. And then in the mornings, I do a home-based workout, which is online. I've been doing that for a couple of years now.
What's your go-to?
So it's called Shadow Camp, and it's run with a lady called Moni Meredith, and she's just released like a whole new website portal thing. It's very integrated with MyFitnessPal, your watches. It's very in depth. I would love a gym membership because I kind of want to lift a bit heavier now. I'm sort of at that point where I'm quite strong. I can't prioritize the time to get to a gym. Because if I leave my children before work, there's nobody at home with my children. So I have about an hour between 6:45 and quarter to 8 in the mornings where it's like, just, unless you're burning the house down, leave me alone. I'm just getting this done in the garage type thing. But I think that's what keeps my mindset, my mental health, clear and focused. And the kids can see that it's a normal thing to do, which is really important. And they know that it's not to get skinny or, it's to
they
be
can see
strong.
you getting strong.
Yeah. And I mean, the kids love it. I can tricep dip the twins who are 17 and 20 kilos over my head. And they love that sort of, they love being thrown around. So I am fairly active. I'm also not the type of person that's able to sit still for very long. So.
No, we sound incredibly similar. Yeah. So, and I completely agree I would love to get to a gym. In fact, I do once a week. I go to F45 in Wanaka because I'm down in the South Island.
Yeah.
But I'm all about the home workouts. I just use free ones on YouTube. I've got a little 9-month-old called Charlie who, like you say, he's always a part of it. If he wants to be a sit-up weights or to be bench pressed, and so, he loves it, and he starts to play with the weights, and he thinks it's hilarious when mummy jumps up and down. And I think there's so much to be said for modeling that behavior.
And if the warehouse and home were a little bit closer to the school, like if it all was closer and we could find a gym that was easy accessible, I'd take the kids to the gym, but
Laura, you're in Albany, are you?
Yeah, so the warehouse is up in Albany, and we did home is 25 minutes away. So it's not too far, but it's just my work day consists of me getting here at 9:15 and me having to leave at 2:15 because I am the primary caregiver. So if I was to add an hour to a gym, I'm not getting all my work done anyway. I'm working every night and doing so it's not feasible, but we'll get the gym.
You're making it work. You are making it work, and you're managing to lift heavy at home.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you do what you need to make it happen, right?
Yeah. I would, like, as a woman who is speeding down, the lane to perimenopause and menopause, and I'm getting freaked out about all of that in itself, I would like to drop a little bit of body fat.
Yeah.
That's why I need to, like, stop the Ninja Creamies every night, maybe have them once a week. It's just really monitoring, right? Because I'm only 5 foot, so I don't have this massive, calorie allowance. I find if I add 1 or 2 extra snacks, like, game over. I'm looking a little bit, on the heavier side. 2 kilos on me 5 kilos on me looks like 2 kilos, on someone that's 5'5". So I'm very aware that, and that's the thing with Low Carb Haven, is we do have a lot of treat foods. they are still treat foods for me.
That's what I was getting at, because I was really intrigued to see you, because there's a lot on there, isn't there? But the majority of your day is still real food.
Yeah.
I mean, which I love.
I love a low carb pasta if we're doing something like that. I've used the alternatives, but it has to be whole food, because obviously I understand that all my autoimmune stuff is inflammatory. And I'm an inflammatory girly. I puff up, I can still be eating keto low carb, but if I'm eating junk, you'll see it.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah. So I had a night out in Queenstown for a friend's engagement do. Some kind of dirty sausage from the night and day, a couple of slices of pizza.
Yeah.
The inflammation I could feel the next day, as well as, probably about 27 margaritas. But it's hilarious, isn't it? Like, you can definitely feel it.
I just can't wrap my head around what really outstands me is like, people live like that though, all the time. And I'm like, how do you not know how bad you're feeling? Like, you just feel like that. I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't run the business and the kids in the household feeling like that all the time. And that's what I wish was kind of more mainstream media and out there, is like, it is more expensive to eat healthy and to do it, but the payoff is incomparable. We have got so many customers at the moment, and that's what I love about us. So you can come into the warehouse and shop.
Yes, I saw that. Yep.
We get to meet the customers, which is amazing. The amount of type 2 diabetics and bariatric customers that we have acquired, and we never kind of meant to really hit them.
Yep.
But, the type 2 diabetics are just like, have no option. What else am I going to do? I don't want to be taking this medication. I don't want to die early, or, have my foot cut off, or any of these things. And it's like, if the relevant education was in our mainstream media with our GPs, therefore people, would they let it get to that point? It makes me really sad. And that's what we still try and do with Low Carb Haven, is have the balance, right? Because there's some people that can't stick to a diet, especially at the beginning. You have the sugar cravings, the withdrawals, all of that. So it's like, we've got you. We've got these for you. They are a better option. But then we still want to make sure that we're having like sauces and condiments, and like we've got baking mixes and really good, wholesome kind of real foods that are replacing, to show that, you can enjoy life with these swaps. But, you still should be shopping outside of the supermarket.
Yeah, and I think you probably feel similar pain to me, in that we are running the businesses we're running. We are still on the fringe. We're still very strange. So the dietary guidelines still say 6 to 11 servings of grains per day is healthy. And our obesity is growing like some of the fastest in the world.
I'd be like 150 kilos.
Yeah, literally. Likewise. So it's funny that you mentioned being 21, because when I was 21, I was about 12 kilos heavier. I had high cholesterol. I was drinking a lot as well. But the sugar I was consuming, thinking I was being healthy. So I was washing down my morning muesli with low-fat milk and orange juice.
Yeah.
Followed by some fruit as a snack, followed by some kind of salad with a chocolate bar because I'd been good. And not had any protein by like middle of the afternoon. So I was ravenous. Yeah. Then it'd be like, well, now I need a bagel or a croissant or something. Like, and you're like, well, it's all, until now it's been low fat, so I'm doing really well. Yeah. And I think that's a trend, craze, really bad science that's really hurt everyone.
A lot. Yeah, definitely our age, out like around that sort of 30 to 50s. We have this warped sense of what what we've been raised, like, with the magazines, and then the low fat, and then the breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And, for some it is. It was marketing at its finest, right? Like, it's done its job.
Yeah. Have you heard where that came from?
Yeah,
I mentioned Kellogg's,
wasn't it? Yeah.
Kellogg's in the 1970s.
It's the most important meal of the day.
Yeah. And I still say to my clients, I believe it is, but breaking your fast with whatever that may be, ideally make it high protein and with some natural fats. Exactly. And you'll be sorted for the rest of the day. But there's a hell of a lot of misinformation out there. And I think what I love about what you've shared about your story and your clients, because it's not just getting abs or looking better on the beach. It's reversing autoimmune conditions quite seriously, reversing type 2 diabetes. They're now talking about Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. So actually on that, because you mentioned mindset, but talk to me about, do you feel a brain-gut connection with what you're eating and how you perform? And how have you found, so you recently, cut out gluten and dairy and things again. It sounds like gone quite super clean with your eating. Has it made a difference?
My sleep. Hallelujah. Like, I mean, I wasn't even having a lot of caffeine. Well, I was, but, we'd cut it back. But so we've cut caffeine.
Did you used to, how much did you have? Because I have a lot of caffeine, but I can it at midday, very latest.
6 teaspoons of instant coffee in the morning, because I'm an instant coffee girl, because I love to treat myself to go out for coffees.
I thought you were going to say throughout the day.
No, in the morning. And then maybe 2 energy drinks in the afternoon. Like I was, like big one, like the Musashi pre-workout, let's get going. And, I didn't think I was sleeping bad because I take this amazing magnesium supplement at night, and and I felt I was sleeping fine. And then I did a 10-day no caffeine, nearly killed me. My electrolytes, everything went out the window. I thought I was going to die on day 2 because the withdrawals were so bad. Over Christmas and stuff, I relaxed and would have one, whatever. And then, February to January, I cut it out. And my sleep is just, I sleep soundly. I wake up and I don't lie there for 10 minutes going, I've got to get up.
How am I going to do this?
I just get up and it's fine. Reducing the dairy and the grains. You feel tighter, right, in your body, because you don't have that outer layer of puff. I don't get a mid-afternoon slump anymore. There's not that, it's 3 o'clock, I've already have kids, I'm going to go do this. It's like, it's fine. The day just pumps. And nothing seems too hard. You know what I mean? I'm quite an organized person with lists, and, we've got, our calendar is obviously like Fort Knox, so we don't miss anything. But the change in mindset is I still get grumpy. Okay. Like 9 times out of 10, it is hangry, and don't ask Stu. He'd be like, every time she's grumpy, she's just hungry. She's just forgotten to eat. That's what it is. But it's not nearly as bad. I'm recognizing, like, hang on, my mood's a little low. What's different? What haven't I done? What did I eat?
Yeah.
And
be more mindful about it.
Yeah, so the reason that I started this rediscovery of food, I guess, was I was having a lot of health issues again in my bowels and my gut, and I really wasn't feeling very good. And it'd been going on quite some time. And I went to my GP and she sort of said, right, we need to get tests done and this and that, and low iron, which was expecting. Nothing really came out of it except like, we'll have to wait and see. And I did that first reset where I went predominantly whole food. And everything came right.
Yeah.
And I think because in my coffee in the morning, I'd have a dash of sugar-free syrup. My bars would have sucralose or erythritol, anything that I was having. And I might have been having 2 bars back then because I wasn't eating as good, whole foods. Then the energy, and I actually think my gut was so unhappy with the artificial sweeteners I was putting in it that I took it away. And I was like, the problem was me.
Your body was
Again, I hadn't looked at the bigger picture kind of in your early 20s when you're just living your best life. So that was really
And the
interesting.
same can happen right now when you're busy. As a busy mum and business owner, you're like just powering to get through, right?
Yeah.
So sort of, you don't think too much about it. And I think you've hit the nail on the head with the gut health. Because the reason I used to eat a lot of musahi bars, peppermint, it's my favorite, delicious, shred and burn. Actually, I've really cleaned that up in the last few years as well, because it's amazing how you can eat a really, really processed low carb diet. Like you think a really processed vegan diet, right? So we can ruin any diet we want to. And I think what was probably happening is if you were having, say, those energy drinks and, like you say, a lot of sweeteners, a lot of sugar, alcohols, things like that, you're still probably having over 100 ingredients in a day.
Easy,
And so when you go whole foods, you strip that back to what, about 25? And your gut's like, okay, I recognize these foods.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm even keel.
That's
I'm not like,
confusing.
what are you going to throw at me? So yeah, I just was in Sydney last week, and I just scoured the supermarkets for new low carb products, you know, to try, because I am a foodie at heart. Like, I love my food, and this is my jam, and this is why Low Carb Haven exists, is because I love looking for new products. But now I'm like, I got to try all of those.
Yeah, that's
And you know,
so
they are,
interesting.
especially in Aussie, the bars that they have are they're just so many bars and things like that. And you look at them and they're not clean. We've got a couple of nice ones that, you know, I would still recommend to people that are more on the whole foods kind of clean. But then there's ones that we sell where I'm like, it's so good, it's a chocolate bar. You may as well go have a chocolate bar. You know,
exactly. It's a chocolate bar with 20 grams of protein, but actually it's got 24 ingredients that you can't pronounce.
Exactly. So and I would love to see more manufacturers and products coming out to be closer to nature. You know what I mean? We have a couple of products in the pipeline we are trying to get over the line and to keep them really, really.
You're going to start making your own.
Clean. Well, we have Haven Foods as our like home brand, and so at the moment that's just sweeteners. So we've had allulose and a monk fruit allulose for a wee while, and they go really well. But in this economy, we are having so many businesses close down. It's insane, the products we've lost in the last 12 months.
Really?
Or a lot of them are reformulating to cheap, nasty products. Like, we've just had a chocolate bar range take cocoa butter out and replace it with vegetable oil, because the price of cocoa is at an all-time high globally, and it's only going to get worse. So it's really difficult to be in this position where you want to provide the best, and be like, I eat this, but companies are making compromises because they have to stay in business. And then you're having to be like, I'm never going to lie to someone. I'm going to be like, it's not very. You know, I'll be like, it's like, we have got a couple of ranges, and they're like, oh, is this good? You know, customers will come in, and I'll be like, it sells really, really well. And that's why we stop. Because my favorite saying is chemical shitstorm. Like, we have a few products, and what are they? They're a chemical shitstorm. Like, it just is, unfortunately, because that's how companies can also hide extra carbs, because they put it into fibers,
the net carbs.
Yeah, and all of that. So marketing is a great tool. In the next 3 years, protein is just going to hit us in the face, because over in Australia, everything added protein, 5 grams of protein. And I'm going, pretty sure that's just standard.
It's less than
it's marketing, as we say, it's going to get us.
You know what? I've got a bit of a confession now. I started my career in food marketing for a natural energy drink company. I'm actually a marketer as well as an integrative nutritionist. So bad times. So I was selling a natural energy drink called Firefly that was filled with about 5 teaspoons of sugar, but it was natural grape juice. So it was technically clean. Yeah. So really interesting. And I know exactly how that world works. And I think what you've just brought up is really, really interesting. And my other background is also in the geographies and epidemiology of health and obesity and how we interact with the economy and the consumption spaces around us. And honestly, people who think they are not linked, like, it's wild the way our health is linked to the economy and vice versa. It's really, really interesting. And also, like you said, shopping around the edge of the supermarket. The way I try to explain that to people is when you're buying steak or even an apple, not technically low carb, but normal whole food, you're not paying anyone's marketing budget. As soon as you step into those middle aisles and it's like Nutri-Grain, 12 grams of protein, up and go, protein. The messaging is so misleading.
Yeah, it really is, and I look at some, even muesli bars marketed at kids I saw the other day, and it was like 7 grams of protein. And I was like, isn't that just the nuts? Like, it's
the first ingredient's sugar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then there's some nuts thrown in there for good measure.
Yeah. So, but you know, we've had low carb, now we're having protein. Is it going to swing around back to low fat after that? Because it's all just marketing.
Surely not.
You're
Surely
so
not.
right.
So what else did you see in Australia? Just protein everywhere. That's the key.
Yeah, there was a lot more, like, you know how in Woolworths here we have the health aisle, and then we have the separate space for the supplements and the
Yeah.
nutrition bars. So the nutrition and supplements, they're kind of more combined in Aussie, and they
Yeah.
link into it. So there's more greens powders. You can buy more protein powders, lots of different bars. I mean, some exactly the same, just a huge range. So your protein bars are probably the same, they have the same amount of space as muesli bars. Was a really interesting kind of thing. And that's such a quick grab and go, right? You know, like if you think of being healthy, still grabbing this protein bar is still better than grabbing this chocolate bar. Well, you know, it depends on what your goals are, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. Not as much vegan. Vegan, I think, is definitely on the way out in terms of...
I'm quite glad, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm like, if you are willing to eat vegan chicken, just eat the chicken. It just makes no sense to me. But yeah, I had a few, even the cereals and the mueslis were like protein, like the granolas and stuff. And I was just like...
That almost makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because it's just more misleading, and it's really interesting following the FMCG, so fast moving consumer goods market.
Yeah.
But actually, I would so rather people go and eat steak.
Yeah.
And instead, you know, they see all these, and not your products, as you say, lots of those things you realize are a treat, and you just want to make them more accessible to people for pleasure, right?
Yeah.
So you're offering pleasure as part of a healthy lifestyle rather than, you know, key nutrition, I suppose. But what people don't realize is they'll go and see standard bloody Nature Valley muesli bar that now has protein written on it, and make that swap and realize there's no difference.
Exactly.
Not without realizing. Yeah.
We like to try and have like meal-based staples. So, you know, we've got legit high protein pasta. So I think that's like 5 grams of carbs, 27 grams of protein.
Is that the keto brand?
So the one I'm thinking of, Feeling Okay for pasta, because it is higher, but it's not gluten-free. Whereas the keto pasta, they are gluten-free. So, you know, we like to have a rice, a pasta, and then we've got Mingle, and we are Mingle's biggest New Zealand stockist, and they have no preservatives, no artificial colours or flavours. Don't
What
Google.
are Mingle?
All you'll see is their ads. So their spices, recipe bases, they've got 3 sauces, gravies, stock, so anything you can kind of for your recipe base. So they're always creating the most amazing products, and they've got like an everything bagel seasoning, and then they've got recipe bases for buttered chicken, chili con carne, green curry, stroganoff. And so you literally just add a tin of tomatoes and, you know, whatever, and it's done. So we like to make sure that we've got things people can make as well for their meal. So those staples where you're not grabbing the old El Paso 75% sugar packet, you're going to grab the Demolish These Tacos from Mingle, which is super clean and just actually has spices in it. So we have those. We've got Jivity in the way of their bone broth mayos. So mayos.
I love their stuff. Bone broth mayo.
Yeah.
Stop it. I have not seen that yet.
Yeah. So they've got 4 flavors: original, barbecue, turmeric, sriracha, I think. So we like to have decent products that fit the outside of the suit. So you're still making your meals with low carb products.
Well, what I love is you believe in whole foods yourself and you can feel the benefits and you know it all, but what you're doing is bringing these low carb alternatives, a lot of them quite clean, as well as the convenience food, but you're making eating low carb easier and more exciting for people at home.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I can handle cauliflower rice, but sometimes I just don't want cauliflower rice. And that was something we struggled to get, was a replica of rice. And the keto rice, like, I just have to cook it and it smells like rice. Like, that's almost enough for my pizzas to be like, I've had my rice fixed when we use that one at home. Yeah, the pastas, they all go really, really well. Different features and benefits for brands. Like sometimes people go, why have you got so many? And it's like they all cater somewhere different.
They all work differently, right? So I've trialed, I use a lot of cognac noodles just in sort of Asian stuff in replacement of rice noodles.
Yeah.
But I'd always use the sort of keto, or there's another brand of like, it's like soy or edamame, like lasagna sheets.
Exactly.
Things like that, different texture.
And things like that. You're not going to use a cognac based product. You're just not going to get the
Some
same.
people might be listening to this and be like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, that's gone
so
too
just
deep.
to give some clarity. So what Laura and I are talking about is keto, and there's a couple other brands that make pasta out of edamame beans, sometimes black beans, soy, and it's about 20 grams of protein per serving, 15 to 20 grams of protein, and very low carb, versus pasta, which is 50 to 80% full carbohydrates, full glucose, that when it hits your bloodstream turns to sugar, will likely give you a glucose spike, especially if you're not moving a lot. And so that's what we're trying to avoid. And cognac pasta, the root of a Chinese plant, I believe, that's just fully fiber. So what it actually does is it fills you up with this sort of fibrous compound with next to no calories. It's something like 5 or like 30 calories a serving.
It takes,
which is wild.
Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to. Like there's certain brands where you open it and it smells very fishy because it's kind of like a seaweed type plant. So you need to rinse them really well and then give them a little bit of a light pan fry. But if it's an Asian inspired dish, they work better than, you know, any kind of wheat based product or the alternatives. They're really good. Like I will always use the cognac fettuccine for like pad thai when we have that. Yeah, I'm a big pad thai girl, so yeah, it's really good. And we've got in the cognac, we have like noodle cups as well. So we've got, I think, 5 different flavors. So you can buy those, but I always recommend that people still put their protein in because I'll eat a noodle cup and then I'm starving half an hour later.
Oh, there's no protein in them.
Yeah, there's nothing in it. It fills you
there's nothing,
and then it's gone.
Yeah. There's nothing in it in comparison to a piece of chicken or a steak.
Exactly, yeah.
On that note, talking of chicken and steak, as someone with autoimmune conditions, have you ever considered carnivore?
Carnivore is very trendy right now. We have a lot of it. I've done so not recently. Pre-kids, in between the kids and the mess of life, I've done short stints. I've done the eat fast, you name it. If it's a low carb trend, I've done it. This last lot of reset I actually would have loved to have lost a little bit more weight. And I know that's not end goal, but I would have liked to see the scales go down a touch more than they did. And I did start thinking, oh, do I do some carnivore? And maybe I will, but it would never be a long-term thing for me because I really like vegetables.
Yeah.
I enjoy eating the rainbow. I really do. I love my avocado. I love, lettuce, and I love asparagus. And especially summer, I'm not giving any of those things up. I'm quite happy to have salad and protein for dinner every night of the week. Like, I'm a happy girl. Yeah. Carnivore can be great. We've got a couple of customers that, like, their autoimmune protocol was, like, horrific. They were having so many issues. And it doesn't change overnight. You have to stick with it as a long term, and they are seeing great results. For where I'm, if potentially if my autoimmune was to ever flare again and sort of be like looking down the barrel of some scary scenarios, I would give it a go 100%. But for right now, where I'm wanting to model healthy relationship with food for my kids and not be showing to be restricting really important food groups for fiber and things like that, I kind of just love my whole foods approach right now.
Yeah, that's such a good answer. We're giving an insight into our summer body reset, and we've done exactly what you say. So that approach so far, so whole foods for the first 2 weeks, and we are doing a carnivore trial week to see if any of the women love it and how they feel, because a few of them are suffering with autoimmune issues. And it's actually like, I'm not going to say carnivore, but like a meat-based style of eating, because like you, it's still like I actually find pleasure in a salad at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I know.
It was my meat, like
We're definitely
crunchy, like
old.
yum.
We're old now, hey. We're definitely
old.
old. We love a salad.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I was cut up and out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true. Like, or like a piece of fruit every now and again. So I don't think I would ever go fully carnivore either. So what I've been doing, having a baby and then being really, really busy during the day, running 2 businesses. So I have been eating meat-based during the day so that my stomach doesn't have to work through digesting all that fiber in the morning, and then eating a family meal with all the boys in the evening that feels completely normal to everyone.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think as
It
well,
seems to be a good balance at the
for
moment.
women with the hormones, and obviously the older we get, the harder it is to shift the weight. Shocking your metabolism into different aspects of diet and calories can probably be really beneficial to, we, as biology, we're used to famine and feasting, right? And that's the whole cycle. So I think, short bursts of carnivore within, programs be really beneficial. And again, any inflammation is just going to disappear. So you are going to get that real, there goes that extra water weight that I had or whatever.
Exactly. You will have felt this. So giving up grains and things, I always have to try and explain to people, you might lose 3 kilos in a week because grains store 4 times their weight in water and it will just drain from you. You'll lose all the inflammation, which generally happens within a week as well.
Yeah.
People are like, I feel fantastic. Their brain starts to change. It's wild.
But that's where, I see, we're so overconsumed with stuff on social media now. You see these programs and they do this for 10 days and you'll feel great. And it's like, well, of course you will, because you're just getting started, You
felt so shit for so long. Like you forgot what feeling great feels like. Yeah, you'll feel amazing.
Of course it works. You've got to carry it on. You've got to change your habits and create a lifestyle that you can work within.
So on that note as well, Laura, because we're getting close to an hour.
Yeah.
So I want to spend the last 10 minutes getting some takeaway tips from you. But firstly, how has your approach changed now that you've got 4 children? Because I know that I used to want to get skinny for holiday.
Yeah.
And now I talk about wanting to exercise and eat for my old lady body. So yes, I might eat a load of protein in the morning, like heaps to help support my hormones. Because yes, we're probably both knocking on the door of the perimenopause shortly. And so how's your approach changed from short to longer term?
It is definitely, I'm in my what I call my preventative era. Yeah. I'm preventing my weight gain at perimenopause because I'm going to know what works, and I'm going to, this is, and I'm definitely, I want to be able to, walk Disneyland when I'm 75 with my grandkids. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. And for me, I always feel like autoimmune is just knocking and he's just behind me. There's only what's going to get out of kilter and it's a fear, right? What am I going to change? What's going to get out of kilter? And it's all going to come tumbling down again. Even though, I'm 20 years now really with no massive issues, it's still, anytime something goes wrong, my doctor's like, well, all your autoimmune stuff. And I just feel like it's a bit of a cop out. But at the same time, all my my nana had MS, my grandfather had Guillain-Barré, it is really prevalent in my ancestry. So for me, and again, arthritis, arthritis, Alzheimer's, all of that. I want to prevent all of that. I want to be like a kick-ass old lady. I want to be able to play with my grandkids. But I also want to look pretty freaking hot for a 40-year-old. It is there. It is. You can't tell me it's not. But it's a big deal, I think, especially for the female.
It's a big milestone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just wanting to look my best at the time given. It's not to say that I don't go out for ice cream with the kids every now and again. I still will participate in treats or birthday cake, things like that. These are just not part of my daily life. And so by creating boundaries or non-negotiables, like my steps, it was this massive thing. And now, and everyone in the workplace and my husband were like, you're absolutely nuts. You're walking around everyone it's just a thing I do now. And that's kind of how my journey progresses. And especially with a preteen daughter, it's just making sure those healthy habits are just that habits that are normalized within the family and things like that to have everybody feeling their best.
You're modeling for her, right? And like, we were so lucky that social media was not even really a thing when we were her age. And I really feel that's been a common theme in the last podcast actually as well. Like, I'm nervous for them. But yeah, so the more we can do, the better, I feel.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, I'm in my preventative era, but if I can look hot doing it now, that's a bit of a cherry on the top, isn't it?
Yes. So Laura, let's wrap this up. To finish us off, hopefully if we can get a discount code together for listeners, that would be awesome later on, and I'll add it to the show notes. What are your key takeaways for anyone suffering with an autoimmune condition, wanting to get a little bit leaner, you know, just rocket life a little bit more, and your favorite products at the moment?
So the tip is actually, for me, I actually think sugar is worse than carbs.
Yeah.
Reduce your sugar. If you cannot go without Coke, get a sugar-free Coke.
Yeah.
Change your sweetener in your coffee. You know, reduce your sugar is my main.
I love that tip.
Yeah, just the sugar is just cancer causing. It's just full of awful stuff. Reduce your sugar any way you can see how. Your tomato sauce, like, you know, we have an outside of the warehouse, and it's like, that's what reduces your sugar. Your sauces, your condiments, your gravies, all of that. Reduce your sugar. My favorite products, and I'm so sorry, it's going to be a bar.
No, that's it. Go for gold, because mine is actually pork crackling. You've got some good pork cracklings on the website.
We've got a very clean pork crackling, which just goes off the shelf. So my favorite is the Fiber Boost bar, because it gives you 20 grams of protein, 18 grams of fiber for 140 calories, under 1 gram of carbs. And we have like 46 flavors.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's our biggest range of protein bars. That would be my grab and go snack most days. I will grab one of them as I'm heading to the car to go grab the kids.
Amazing. And what's that brand called?
It's called Fiber Boost.
Fiber Boost. That's so interesting. I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, so that would be my snacky, and then my favorite would be, for a meal, would be the keto rice.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome.
Yeah. What's yours? Crackle.
I think I was looking through your website the other day. I think Crackle, and I think I've been doing a lot of research into the carnivore way of eating, and now they're actually saying that you don't need fiber. It's very interesting that a low carb style of eating mimics the benefits that fiber does.
Yeah.
So they both produce a ketone called BHB. So whether you want to go and look up Laura's bar with heaps of fiber, or whether you want to try going super low carb, they both produce a really similar result. And ketones are amazing fuel for our brain, fat burning, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so in answer to your question, I'm a bit of a clean eater. Try to be. Like I said, I used to love Musahi bars, but they didn't make me feel good, I don't think.
Yeah.
If I was honest.
And the Fiber Boost doesn't bloat me. That's why I like them.
That's good to know.
They feel pretty clean. Like, my body doesn't react badly to them.
Yeah, I feel like I need to give these a taste test now. Yeah, because what else is that? And the Gevity bone broth mayo.
Yeah.
Because I tried their bone broth and that's delicious. So I'd be super keen to try that as well. Yeah. Maybe I'll get the boys off Heinz Hellman's.
Just
Maybe.
ridiculous,
Maybe
isn't
not.
it? Just so gross.
Anyway, Laura, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I'll wrap it up and we'll keep in touch. We're hopefully going to be doing a little bit of a partnership or competition soon as well.
Yeah, I think it's soon.
Give everyone a little teaser.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But for now,
all right.
Thanks for enjoying your day, Laura. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Lifestyle Design Secrets podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please do stop and take 2 seconds to subscribe and leave us a review. It means the world to us. If you are curious about working with us or checking out our new bite-sized guides or our full body reset transformation programs, please do head on over to our website, which is www.amysfitnessandnutrition.co.nz. Have a great day.